today seniors from San Angelo Independent School District who I have invited to help us tell our viewers about why on earth anyone as a junior, senior, particularly even sophomore, should take harder courses, either AP, Advanced Placement, academic or technical, or dual credit. I mean, you could have taken the easy way and just taken none of those harder courses. Why? What motivates you to do that? There's several reasons. Lauren, why did you take a whole bunch?
I thought that if I took the AP classes, I would be better prepared for college because you learn how to study and how to do lots of work at one time. And also it helped me to be accepted to college because it was on my resume that I chose to take harder classes instead of taking the easy way out.
And Lauren Hogg is going to Vanderbilt, and that's cool. So you knew you had to compete to get in. Okay, let me introduce the rest of these neat young people. John Rigdon is going to Texas A&M.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's okay. We have another future Aggie here, Aryn Gonzalez, and you are going engineering route. Do you know what route you're going, John?
I'm thinking law, whatever that entails. I'm not really sure.
I bet you could win a debate or two.
I have in the past.
Okay. And Lauren, do you have a clue what you're going to start out majoring at Vanderbilt?
Special education.
Good for you. Okay, and we have two other ladies with us who are also going to college. Aryn Jones right here is going to stay in town, at least for now, undergraduate, and going into nursing. Woohoo! Yes. And guaranteed job.
Guaranteed, most certainly.
And we're proud of that. And then we have Brittany Wollman, who's going to Abilene Christian University. Great school just right up the road. Yeah. Lauren's going to burst the boundaries of Texas, which that's okay. And do you know what you're going to major in?
Secondary education.
Oh, yes.
I want to be a history teacher. So.
Okay, okay. All right, I asked, and Lauren has said, anybody want to add why else you would choose the harder path and take advanced placement or dual credit?
I kind of look at it more as I saw Lauren's perspective, but then I saw kind of the financially, like it's a bargain. It's a bargain, you know. I mean, even if you don't pass it, it's still great motivation. You know, you still get you get to go through it again. I mean, 4 is great for. Of course, I thought even if I did pass my major related tests, that I was going to take them in college anyways, just as a kind of a.
You understand
it better. When I get there, I'll know more than the others that didn't take advanced placement, and they just kind of went through the basics of regular. So,
well, let's bounce off of what you've just said, Aryn. Advanced placement, if you when you take the test at the end of the year, gets you college credit, and if you take dual credit, also if you pass the course, gets you college credit. So. With college costing so much, no matter where you go, any head start on courses. So not only to get into good schools is it almost mandatory, if it is mandatory, quite honestly, to take advanced placement or dual credit or advanced courses and do well in them. But it also can help chip away at some of your courses. So is there another reason why a young person who has a life might still take these much harder courses?
I like the challenge.
You really do?
I do. I'm
what
a weak
about
person.
What about the challenge do you like?
Before we even started, Mrs. Sleeper, who doesn't unfortunately teach here anymore, but she was telling my class that AP US History is like a marathon. Like the first test is like one of those marathons that you just throw yourself in there and you can't finish it, but you just keep pushing through, and then the closer and closer you get, the more exercise you get towards being able to finish the test and do it well. And they definitely prepare you very well, and it's just a great push to continue academically. And yeah.
but you have harder work in many cases. What does that mean, harder work? Because that means different things to different people. Does it mean you have more reading than a regular class, more homework? All of that?
Yes.
Well, you're not selling people with that answer.
I would think it's not necessarily like, of course it's more in depth, but yet where was I going with that?
Okay, you're going deeper with the subject?
It's
Yes.
more interesting. It's a lot more interesting,
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay.
Definitely. Like,
So, John, and Aryn, to go in depth, you're interested in topics that you can learn more about. Is it also true that in advanced placement and dual credit classes, there's a different level of discussion?
definitely.
All right, so
Definitely.
what
The
does
debates-
that mean?
The debates we had in AP US history are possibly the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
So,
All right, give me an example, John, of a debate in a history AP class.
well, we had one over civil rights. That was pretty fun. We had one over the Civil War, which was pretty fun. What else did we debate? We debated the New Deal and a
Nixon.
couple of Nixon. Prohibition. We had a fun prohibition debate.
So do you get to choose which side you debate?
No.
That was the fun part.
Now, that's where it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Because if you always got to choose which side, it might be based more on emotion.
Right.
Right.
And if you are assigned a side that, especially if it's not the side of the debate you like, but you still have to defend it, that's where I think I grow.
Yeah.
You have to research more too to
Yeah.
understand why someone would choose that side, especially if you don't believe in the same thing.
Because when you sign up for an AP class, you're not just getting the content of the class. You're learning like critical thinking skills and how to better yourself in general as a person besides the subject matter.
Yeah.
Could
It's
it also be that you're learning, because all of y'all are sharp, could it be that you're learning how to disagree in a respectful, professional way?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can use most of it outside of, even the history is great to know, but I mean, you can use it outside of school in like, when you're growing up and going to college, there's going to be people that aren't from the same place as you, so they have a different perspective on something else, and so therefore they think differently than you, and you have to be able to understand where they're coming from, and instead of slowly putting them down, and you have to be able to work with, I don't know, it's kind of getting you going in that direction of accepting, being able to.
That there might really be another side to something that you feel passionately about. That is a very much a lifelong skill with your, not just getting good grades or getting into good universities, but in relationships, whether it's with your family or with spouses down the road, and in your jobs with your boss, to be able to try to see the other person's side is a very mature thinking process. I asked some of you, I'd hoped we would be able to discuss a little more, and so a couple of high school kids weren't able to come that have taken some dual credit classes, but some of you, Aryn and John particularly, have taken technical dual credit, and yet you're on an academic track for college. Why on earth would you do that?
Because they're fun. They are. Because it's just cool
Okay,
stuff.
after fun. Give me an example of what technical, and you had to go over to West Texas Training Center,
Yes, ma'am. 2 hours a day.
which means that's a 2-hour
Yes, ma'am, it's a double
commitment
block class.
out of your,
Yes, ma'am.
because you provide, it's
Yes, ma'am.
travel
Yes, ma'am.
time.
Yes, ma'am.
Travel time. John, tell our audience what you took.
Well, I took 3D animation at the training center with Mr. Marble, and basically we're learning how to produce cinema quality animation and cinema quality graphics, and it's really cool. It's really fun. It's a good pastime, and it's something you can take. Once you're a senior, you have all the classes you really need to take. It's a life skill that could help you in the future, and
Without
just
a
something to do.
doubt.
Without a doubt. It's awesome.
Because the people often who get something they need, it's how they presented it.
Right.
We've talked about presenting it in an open-minded way, but beauty speaks.
Oh, beauty's good.
And a sophistication of that is very important. You know, as you know that especially in our world of so much technology out there that's bombarding us, sometimes it's the best package deal. So now you know how to package.
Now I know how to package.
Woohoo! Okay, and Aryn, you took nursing.
Yes.
And you want to be a nurse.
Yes.
I would bet there's some reasons you wanted a head start on that.
Most definitely. Nursing is a whirlwind when you get into it. It's not just one level. It's you get your feet wet and you keep going and going and going, and you see something new every day, no matter what you do. And the age ranges are from babies to older adults and everybody.
Older than I am.
Yes. They need help too. So as our generation or as our population ages, we need more and more nurses. So
You will have a job.
guaranteed.
So you started though in high school, and you've also told me prior to this interview that you're going to work there, try to get a job in nursing this summer.
Yes.
That could very easily be at a higher rate of pay than some others of your age that are having to settle for a minimum wage perhaps. So I think that is a very valuable piece of information. Some people in our community may think, well, a young person who is taking technical dual credit wants to go into technology or wants to stop at being a CNA, and that's not necessarily true. That very easily can give you a better job.
Definitely.
While you're trying to pay the tremendous expenses of college. No, all of you are going to be paying bucks for school. College is not cheap.
No, ma'am.
So no, it's not. And I certainly hope you are going to be thanking your parents for their support of you. How many hours have you all usually taken? Start over here and tell me AP or dual credit hours.
I'm not for sure the total amount. This year I'm taking 5 AP. And so
That is a load. I would bet, I don't know this to back it up, but I would bet only a fourth of our kids are taking 5 at a time. Who else up here is taking 5? Are you, Lauren?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yes.
yes, it is.
I would bet that they're not a whole lot, maybe even only 10% or 15% of our seniors take. That's a chunk.
It really helps you with time management, though. Like, that's a valuable skill.
Do you have a life outside of taking AP courses?
Yeah.
Okay, well, good.
You have to have one to keep
Surprisingly,
your sanity.
Yeah.
Because that is an awful lot to balance. You don't have one easy course where you can go sit down and go, okay, this
Oh, I'm
is,
taking regular English.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because you just can't
Right.
go, woo. All right, how many are the rest of y'all? How many hours do you hope to get when you graduate?
I'm going to have 36. I'm going to be able to go in as a sophomore.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Talk about money.
I don't know yet.
Okay,
Lots saved.
but it sounds like if you do well on your test, you should go in with a good number.
I should be almost done with my freshman year.
Okay. What about you, Lauren?
Probably about the same as Brittany. It just depends on how well my scores come back.
Okay.
I'm
Aryn and Aryn?
I've decided that even like on my because I'm doing engineering, calculus and physics, I'm not going to, even if I do score really high, I'm not going to use that credit in college because I feel like
But you'll still have it.
yes, but,
Yes.
but I want to take the A&M course because it's
That's probably smart in your major.
I don't want to take something and have something they learn something else where I may have just gotten.
However, you all know, and our audience, some may know, that if you score well on AP, you have earned it. And that is a really,
It's an accomplishment.
it is
Definitely
quite an
yes, ma'am.
accomplishment. If you all had one wish that you might have done differently, anybody? That's a hard question. Oh, Aryn's going here.
At the beginning of the year, I was taking chemistry and physics, and I kind of let the senior year get the best of me, and I went ahead and just dropped down to just physics because I thought I'll just take chemistry in college anyways. So
Well, those are hard courses.
they were both really challenging, and I just thought maybe I'll just calm
So
down.
it is a word of wisdom, be careful that you don't
Let senior year get the
let
best
your,
of you.
let your, there's a good piece of
Yeah.
advice.
You're right, it's really
Anybody
bad.
else have something that you might have wished you had done differently?
I wish I would have started earlier. I took a couple regular classes my sophomore year, and I wound up regretting it, just because, I don't know. I missed out on experiences with some good teachers. And, I mean, not that my teachers were bad, but
But
just...
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
You could have done it. Were you concerned that maybe you couldn't handle it? Were you worried that it would interfere with your life? Why, John?
It was more there were subjects that I'd never really been interested in, and I didn't want
Okay.
to start off at the top.
Okay.
But once I got in, they were
But
good.
that's not, but so you're
So,
saying jump on in.
jump on in, definitely. Just go for
Woo-hoo.
it. Can't hurt.
Anybody else wish you had done something different?
Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep
'Cause
going.
I mean, I continued with it because I'm just that type of person. I start something, I have to finish it. But I definitely see where I could have pushed myself harder. But it's definitely worth it in the end.
When do you all take your AP exams?
First
Um,
week of
first 2 weeks.
First week of May.
Of May.
Okay, and as a general rule, we don't get scores back until after school's out, really,
Yes, ma'am.
don't
In
we?
the summer, honestly.
I think it's
Yeah,
in July.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it was, I was thinking maybe June, but, well, I sure wish you the best, and you've given good advice to young people thinking about it. Let me ask one more question. Did you all take a pretty good dose of pre-AP back in middle school?
Yes, ma'am.
I did.
Well, good for y'all. And did that prepare you for for AP? Some of your pre-AP
Very
courses?
well, actually. Very
It
well.
did.
Okay. All right, I'll ask one more. Maybe, just one more. What was the hardest AP course at your high school?
Oh.
I'm gonna get in trouble. AP biology is very hard.
Yes,
I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
AP Environmental
But it's worth it.
Science.
Environmental science?
Chemistry.
Lauren, which was the hardest for you?
I think AP Biology is pretty challenging, but I think I'd have to go with AP US History, just because that was the first one
That
that
is
we all
true.
took, so we
Yeah.
weren't really prepared for it when we got into it, but it wasn't as bad as you went on, and you learned how to deal with it all, so it ended up being worth it.
I feel like when we started the year, it was more like, oh my gosh, we have to read a 30-page chapter
Yeah.
and do notes. And then by the end of the year, we were like, we only have 30 pages. And it was really exciting to be able to it felt good to not feel like I had a lot when I did have a lot.
And they've really prepared you for the test. Like, I was over-prepared for the test.
The tests
You
are
got the
easy.
test, I was
The
like,
tests
this
are
is
not
so
hard.
easy.
Yeah.
If you can do
for
good in the
y'all.
class.
And I will tell our audience, I'm so excited that many more kids are agreeing to take the tests now, even than last year. Our school district has ordered several hundred more, which means kids are getting confident. And so y'all are not talking trash about it with other underclass students. And so I appreciate that, because I want kids to feel like they can go, and that our teachers are strong enough that if a kid does their part, they can be successful. Way to go! I'm so proud of y'all for biting off more than what most of your classmates have. We wish you the very best next year, and we want to hear from you and see how you're doing. I don't worry about you at all. Thank y'all so much. Way to go.